Hey Capricorns, this is Amanda Fabella, also known as the Queer Psychic Queen, and I'm just here for your November love reading, so your monthly reading for all of November. Some interesting things that are going on this month. So this month until the 16th, Venus is still retrograde, so that definitely affects your love life in a few ways. So Venus being retrograde can make you feel like there's things that you're not sure of. Like when you're dating someone or when you're in a relationship, it's like the feeling that you're not sure what they're thinking or what's going on or if there's an issue. Venus in retrograde like really brings issues to the surface. So what I found is that typically after Venus retrograde is when things become clearer. So during this time, it would be October 5th to November 16th. During this time, things can be kind of elusive. So like things are bubbling to the surface, but it's not fully clear. And then typically like after Venus retrograde is when the issues that came up during Venus retrograde are more relevant and more clear to you and kind of like make sense at that point. So Venus goes direct November 16th. So 5 hours after Venus goes direct, Mercury actually goes retrograde. So that affects communication, but honestly, with love, Mercury affects like communication, technology, traveling, and things like that. But with love, it would be more affected by Venus being in retrograde. So that'll be good when it does go direct. Excuse me. So I am a Scorpio sun, Sagittarius rising, and Cancer moon. Today I'm going to be reading for one, the theme of love for you, Capricorn, for November. Two, the other person's feelings. So the person that you have in your mind when I'm doing the reading, that would be their feelings. And then three would be the outcome for your love life in November 2018. And then I usually pull one last intention card from the Gabby Bernstein, The Universe is Your Back Deck, has your back deck. So for the theme for Capricorns for love in November. Okay, so for Capricorns in November, I'm getting that this reading applies to both single people and people in a relationship. So that tells me that this might be a month of like going within. I feel like just feeling into your energy. I feel like the past few months, you've been kind of pushing yourself in a different way than you usually have, like with the best of intentions, because I have like 5 planets in Capricorn in my birth chart. So I'm actually pretty heavily Capricorn, and we can be so hardworking and so like determined that we can kind of burn our own selves out. So we're less of, I mean, if you have an unhealed soul or like an unhealed heart chakra, when things happen in the world around you, you are reactive. And then when you're healed, you can feel calm no matter what's going on around you. But with Capricorns, I almost feel like you guys think so much that the turmoil and anxiety that you cause yourselves comes from the thoughts within your own head. So in your daily life, when people are saying like, oh, I hate my job, I can't stand this, I can't stand that, you're thinking to yourself, why don't you just do something about it? Why don't you just change it? You don't understand how the little things can affect them so much when what's affecting you are these huge issues in your head. So the theme for November for love is pay attention to the red flags. So I feel like this is less of an extreme card. So this card, pay attention to the red flags. Sometimes when it comes up, you kind of think to yourself, a toxic person is going to come into my life and I have to be careful. This could mean so many different things, and it doesn't exactly have to mean that the person is toxic or fully toxic, and it doesn't even have to mean that it's the other person. It could be you. And with pay attention to the red flags, with this reading specifically for you, Capricorn, in November, I'm really getting that this has to do with just not being so headstrong to what you want and actually like being present. Like that's the message that I'm getting for you guys this month, to like be present in the present moment, and not to look at being present or like meditating and different things like that, not to look at those as just things to do or things that don't have results, to look at those as things that each time you do become present in the moment, each time you do meditate, each time you're here now instead of looking to the future, that strengthens you to be able to do that easier next time. So it is for a good reason. And I think that this month is just a good time to slow down. For some reason, I'm feeling like I'm just getting that the person that you're talking to, they're not bad for you, like they're good for you, but things seem to be moving, they just seem to be moving more quickly than you might want, or in the month of November, some more serious issues are going to come up in your relationship, or if you're casually dating, in that relationship that you weren't expecting. Not totally bad, but just to pay attention to the red flags just that come along with that, because you could want love so much. Sometimes when we want love so much, or sometimes when we are just beginning to date someone, we focus on the things about them that are really complimentary to us. I mean, that's good to focus on the good, but not to ignore the bad. So with love, randomly, specifically, because I feel like with everything else in our life, we're always focusing like on the bad. So with other people, for some reason, we have this tendency, like with love partners, I think it's just our inner desire to love and connect with people, to look at the good in them. So when you really like someone, let's say, for example, you really like someone, you have a lot of things in common, you like all the same music, they like all the same books as you, they have the same hobbies, they make you feel good when you're around them. And then like you have a little argument with them and they blow up. But it's the first time they blew up, and you know, they're really nice and perfect in all of these other ways. So you could deal with that. But that's a whole nother issue on its own. So that's the kind of like energy that I'm getting, that there's just something about this other person that doesn't sit right with you. But what I'm getting is that this can be communicated and talked through. So with other people, when they might react in a way that we didn't expect, or react in a way that's unhealthy, they could be thinking a whole bunch of different things. Like, you could talk to the other person about this and they could be like, I was so anxious, I didn't react in a way that I usually would, and like really try to work on themselves, because that's really the determining factor. I mean, an apology is really just words. It would be, an apology is how the person acts after. So what I'm really getting with this is to just pay attention and be present with your relationships and your romantic relationships, even in casual relationships this month, how people react to things, and just to talk about it. So I'm not urging anyone to like sometimes in the readings I do get like things are ending and things like that. I'm not getting anything like that. I'm more getting to talk to the person about it, be expressive. Don't let it just go under the rug until it's so bad that you don't know what to do with it. And then secondly, the second card I pulled for the other person's feelings is the Express Your Love card. And so this is kind of interesting with what I was just saying about how for you to pay attention to the red flags, because there might be some things that surprise you. And so in the place in the reading of the other person's feelings to get express your love, I'm kind of getting that there's some things that they need to get off their chest, not bad things, things within themselves, things that would greater your understanding of them and potentially help them to greater their understanding of you and themselves. They need to express it to you. And that's why I kind of have been feeling since the beginning that this is about a casual relationship, because it's kind of like they're not sure how you would take it. They're not really sure where you guys stand right now. So is that too serious? I feel deep conversations coming for you in November, Capricorn, but I don't feel endings. I feel like almost new beginnings starting. And I don't mean that in like every ending is a new beginning. Like, beginnings in your relationship of like being communicative and trusting and expressive from this. So this is good. This is really good. And then the outcome of love this month, it goes perfectly with what I was just saying. Healing family issues. So I do feel like the healing family issues card has to do with you expressing yourself in your relationship. So asking yourself the hard questions of, why am I scared to say how I feel? What am I scared of that if they fully express themselves to me, if the other person fully expresses themselves to me, then I would feel like I have to fully express myself to them. And what's scary about that? What's scary about talking about how you feel? Rejection, disappointment, someone leaving you. This is kind of the month where you face all those things. I do feel the conversation happening. I definitely do. But I feel like that conversation, like I was saying, it's very healing. It's very healing not only within your relationship, but it's very healing for you within yourself and for your partner within themselves. So this month feels really good. Like it feels good overall. Of course, like if you're having a difficult conversation, that moment might be heavy, but it's always for the best. So for the intention for this month, the intention for this month. Okay. So this is pretty interesting. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. So I love this. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. So that's like what I was saying with this conversation going on. Like you will be able to see a situation like you haven't seen a situation before because you're able to see it from a different perspective because you're able to express yourself and they're able to express themselves. And when you guys express yourself, there's understanding that comes from that rather than two people just having their two mindsets, just trying to get the other person to get their mindset and that's all they're getting. I feel understanding coming from this. So this feels super duper good. If you'd like to know more about your love life or more about, I can do a general tarot reading, business, anything for the month of November, I put my email in the description. So just shoot me an email and, we can go over further any specific questions that you have about yourself. So thank you. I hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful, healing, peaceful November, and I'll talk to you guys soon.